Warning, this video contains high levels of whimsy, silliness, and features highly inefficient use of the Create mod. If this may disturb you, look away now. Factories. We all build lots of them with Create, but sometimes, even with all the moving belts, arms, machinery, they feel a little lifeless. Today, in an attempt to remedy this, we are going to try and build a factory that's entirely run by robots. So if you like zany contraptions and over-engineered farms, subscribe. Or don't. The robots will get you either way. I've decided to set up our factory next to this village because I want to send a message to these lazy villagers who have been in bed since I got here and they still haven't gotten up, which is definitely because they're lazy and not because I turned off Do Daylight Cycle. Yeah, you stay in bed, the robots are coming for your job. Well, if you had a job yet, you haven't even gotten up to get one. Lazy villagers aside, the plan is simple. Well, actually there is no plan, but that's what makes it so simple. I've already cleared a big flat area for our factory to go in, and I've started to lay out a factory diagram for what we're going to be producing, which is andesite casings. This feels like a good level of complexity and involves a bunch of different Create processes so that we'll have plenty of jobs for our robots. We start, as most Create farms do, with a cobblestone generator. That cobblestone gets crushed into gravel, which then gets washed and split into iron nuggets and flint. We then make andesite using that flint, gravel, and some lava, and then we mix the andesite and iron nuggets to make andesite alloy. Elsewhere, we bring logs into the factory, presumably from a tree farm, which gets stripped, and then our andesite alloy gets applied to those logs to make casings. But how are we going to make it look like these robots are performing Create processes? Well, I'm not entirely sure. So I'm going to take heavy inspiration from Mr. Beardstone, who has been building a bunch of robots on the Just Create SMP and his new survival series. And for one thing, they are incredibly cute. The robots are cute, not Mr. Beardstone. Well, no, he is incredibly cute too. I'm looking for faces. Any blocks with faces? Oh, the steam whistle kind of has a face. How do I place you? Oh, you have to go on a boiler. Oh, look at this guy. He looks like a grumpy old man. Let's give him some wheels. He's good. I don't know what he's doing with that deployer down there, but he looks great. We're definitely going to need some kind of drill robot to collect the cobble. Maybe some kind of bulldozer bot. I think it would be cool if it had caterpillar tracks, maybe belts. That looks cool. Maybe some half copycat panels to kind of cap them. She's very andesite-y, but then I guess it's an andesite casing factory. It makes sense. The robots are made of the casings. Oh, I love robots. Look at this little guy holding his little basin. You probably get the idea. There's a valve handle on the back of this robot, which means we can tip our basin 180 degrees, dropping its contents. And this means we can use these robots as little item carriers. They can ferry stuff around the factory. So I think this guy needs a happy face. Oh, that's much better. I spent some time integrating Create processes with our robots and also designing a very cute little guy. Oh, I love him. Oh, he's so cute. Don't you think he's cute? Oh, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, I guess. I made a lot of cool looking robots, but I still didn't really know how they were going to work in the context of the factory, and I kept getting distracted. It's a copycat. Hello? Can I apply textures to you? Is that how you work? No. Oh, okay, well, back to robots, I guess. I've had to put the robots away for now. I was having too much fun, so I'm thinking about the layout for the factory building itself. And I think we should have one big building on the left and a slightly smaller building on the right, with a small covered walkway in between, which is where we're going to generate our cobble. I've already built a very scuffed cobblestone generator down here, and it's going to push a block of 63 cobble up. And what I'm hoping is that our big mining bot will drive around the corner through the block of cobble, then it will drive into the factory, offload that cobble, and drive back out the other side, and do a loop around the building. Now, where are the rest of the robots going to go? The robot army is growing. I've laid them all out in coloured wool because my tiny mind was getting confused as to which robot was which. And where you see multiple colours, that's the different positions that each individual robot is going to go to. We have our mining drill, which comes into the factory and drops off its cobble with the cyan robot, which turns and uses a weighted ejector to throw the cobble up in between the crushing wheels. The big black robot brings the crushing wheels together to crush the cobble into gravel. That drops into a basin, and the red robot takes the gravel either to the washing station or to the press. These basins are a little bit high, so I'm gonna put the basin there. Oh, maybe it doesn't even need to turn. Maybe it can just filter out. Anyway, the gravel at the washing station is then washed by this blue robot, which I'm really hoping can move alongside the conveyor as it washes. And the flint and iron nuggets are picked up by this brown and yellow robot. The brown robot takes the flint over to the press, where it's joined by the orange robot, which is bringing the lava. This robot just shuttles backwards and forwards between a big lava tank. And our yellow robot brings the iron nuggets and picks up the andesite and takes both the ingredients for the andesite alloy to the other building. But I'm not showing you the other building yet because there's something fun in there that I want to save for later. For now, we're going to look at how the robots in this building move. Some time has passed, as you can probably tell from all of the holes in the ground behind me. In fact, it has been several days. This is proving to be a much bigger challenge than I initially thought. It's very busy down here, and that's because of how we are using our minecarts. But before we talk about our minecarts, I did want to add that I did get a robot with a fan working, but it was just too slow with only one fan, so I've gone for a more conventional fan setup. So minecarts. You're probably aware at this point that most of the moving robots in the factory are minecart contraptions. The way you make a minecart contraption is you place a cart assembler on a piece of rail, put a minecart inside it, and that allows you to glue a bunch of blocks above that, and when it's powered, becomes a minecart contraption. If a minecart contraption enters an unpowered cart assembler, the contraption turns back to blocks. Boy, are these things fiddly. Minecart contraptions are very powerful, but there are two big things we need to think about, which is speed and direction. Controlling the speed is very easy. We can use a block create adds called controller rails, which control the speed of the minecart on the rails. Very self-explanatory. You can see I have a signal strength of 14 here and 1 at the other end of the rail. And if we power our minecart, we can see it gradually slowing down as it moves across the rails. I will say they are very expensive, but we're in creative, so I'm going to use as many as I like. For direction, I'm talking about the minecart contraption's direction, not the rails themselves. We generally want our contraptions to face towards motion because, well, our robots need to see where they're going. If the minecart is on a loop, I didn't glue it. Damn it! If our minecart is on a loop, our minecart contraption looks relatively natural, because it turns corners and always faces the way it's supposed to be, and when it comes into a cart assembler, those cart assemblers are all facing the same direction. In our factory, our minecarts sometimes need to shuttle going between two different points and becoming blocks at either end, which means we need cart assemblers at either end of the track, and the problem becomes which way do we face those cart assemblers? As an example, our red robot is holding its basin in one direction, and when it moves to the and when it moves to the washer, it's facing the other way. Say our contraption comes into a cart assembler facing this way. Well, what happens when we need it to go back the other way? We can't just power a cart assembler with a controller rail, because this happens. We can't use powered rail with a block behind it like you would a normal minecart. Some strange interaction with the cart assembler means this doesn't work. I'm not sure why. And we can't put the cart assembler facing the other direction because we need the contraption to face a certain way, and it also results in this snapping 180 degrees into place, which just looks silly. So what are we gonna do? My solution, which you saw earlier, is to use minecart couplings. I don't see people using these very often, and they're a really great way to get early game create trains. Okay, they're the trains that Mum says you have at home, but they're still pretty great, and they're very handy for a variety of animations with minecart contraptions. Now we can power our cart assembler, and then power our minecart, and what should happen is... that is not supposed to happen. What is supposed to happen is that the minecart at the back behaves like a regular minecart and pushes the whole train back down the track. Is this a very silly, over-engineered solution? Yeah, probably, and I'm sure somebody's going to tell me immediately that there's an easier, smarter way of doing it. Get in the comments and tell me how you would do this. This has been a whole lot of explaining. Let's go look at some robots. Some of them work in some really interesting ways. On this side of the factory, almost all the robots are minecart contraptions. The red basin carrier, the grey mining drill, and over here we have the orange lava carrier, and then down in these tunnels, the yellow robot and the brown one even further down. I've been digging these tunnels so that all the carts are on separate layers so I don't have to worry about the tracks overlapping. And this warren of tunnels is actually reminding me the Burrow. My new Discord is now open. Come share your builds, get world downloads. I'd love to see you there. Enough with the distractions. I know you guys want to know how these robots work, so let's flash through each one above and below ground and take a look at how we're making them do what they do. Starting with our big mining drill, which is so big that I've actually created a little bit of an offset from the track. You can see here we've got string going up, and then it goes across to the side, which just smooths out the cornering for the big drill. If it's pivoting around on a tiny little minecart track, it looks a little bit goofy. So putting this offset in means that it swings out a little bit wider. This one is just a single minecart because it's on a loop. It's a nice easy one like we were talking about. We're just using controller rails to control the speed as it goes around. And when it pulls into the factory, it comes into this cart assembler, turning it into blocks so it can drop off its cobble, and it goes over a detector rail. The detector rail sends out a signal to our cobblestone generator to generate a new block of cobble. It tells the robots in the factory that the drill has arrived, and the drill is held in the cart assembler until this comparator is unlocked, after which it continues on its way around the loop, and it goes to another station where it picks up an extra cheeky stack of cobble and sits until the next block of cobble is ready to be picked up. Our orange and brown robots are probably the simplest in the entire factory. They just shuttle backwards and forwards carrying their resources, and if we look at the brown line, you can see that we've got controller rails going in one direction, so when the minecart needs to come back the other way, we've actually attached those controller rails to mechanical bearings, and we can just rotate them 180 degrees. The red basin robot is a little more complicated because it has to take the gravel to 2 different places. It goes over to the washer 3 times, and on the 4th time, it takes the gravel to the press. Our yellow robot is the most complicated because it has to pick up 2 different types of resource and take them over to the other building, and I've gone the wrong way. I've gone the wrong way again. I'm lost in my own tunnels. There we go. Okay. The yellow one I'll show you down here. It goes off from its first position to a second cart assembler, which is where it's picking up the andesite. It also triggers the press to start pressing the andesite, and also cues the orange lava robot to move. The yellow bot crosses to the other building up some stairs, where it does a little loop on the mezzanine platform, drops off its resources, and then heads back to the first building. Whilst I think I have the factory working really well currently, it is fair to say that these minecarts can be very fiddly. They often get a little confused, stuck. Sometimes they overshoot the cart assemblers and disassemble into other objects. Oh, why would you do that? It has been a real challenge to get all of this working, but I think it is so worth it, especially this second building. I think it is time to talk about this thing behind me. It's a giant mixer, heavily inspired by McKelsey's multi-block mixer video. Go check out their channel after this, they make some incredible create builds. Let's look at how mine pales in comparison. Our yellow robot drops off the resources to make andesite alloy, and they drop through a chute into the mixer basin. The mixer starts up and is powered by these pair of pink robots who are using deployers to turn a hand crank. This hand crank is very elaborately connected. Let me in. Let me in. Thank you. It's connected up to the real mixer, which is hidden beneath the giant basin. And next to it is a mechanical bearing, which is actually spinning our giant whisk, this yellow wool, in time with the shaft. Once the alloy is ready, the mixer shuts off, and the magenta robot takes the alloy over to the lime green robot, who I'm calling Chuck, because he has a brother, Woody. I'm not the best at names. Whilst the mixer is mixing up the alloy, Woody enters the factory, places down logs, and then leaves again back to the wood farm. And this is the tree farm. I didn't have time to build one. But how do we stop our deployers from placing all the logs as our robot is heading towards the factory? The robot has contraption controls that are set to stop the deployers from working, and as it comes up into the factory, it stops briefly in a cart assembler. A signal goes out from the detector rail that toggles the contraption controls off. The robot then carries on, placing the logs, until it reaches a second station where the contraption controls are toggled back on, and it continues on its way. With the logs in place, the lime green robot can cross the factory floor, stripping the logs, and then it goes back the other way, placing the alloy to create the casings. Finally, the casings are collected by some drills, and this might be my favourite robot of the whole factory because it does 2 jobs. At one end of the track, the robot receives axes that it can strip the logs with, and at the other it deposits the axes and picks up andesite alloy, which it then uses to make the casings. With all the robots now ready to work, it's probably time we built a factory for them to actually work in. What is going on down here? What are you doing? Application denied. Bit concerned that some of the other villagers would get funny ideas about getting jobs in this factory, and more importantly get stuck in the minecarts, but it seems like they're all fairly happy just swimming and jobless. So let's take a look at these warehouse buildings. I'm really happy with how they look. You can see that I've started detailing some of the robots as well. Look at this little guy, I love his little hat. I'm super happy with this guy. He's got a little wood basket for carrying his logs up to the factory. As always, I will be putting a world download in the description of the video for you to come and have a look at the robots and see how they work. And if you want early access to that world download, you're going to have to find a code in the video. If not, it will go up on the Discord in a few days' time. Did I forget anything, Woody? What a strange thing to say. I'm sure that's not significant in any way. Obviously, there's a lot of detailing left to do in the build, on the outside and the in, let's not even talk about the back. But you're probably wondering what we're going to do about all the holes in the floor. When the robots disassemble to perform their actions, they turn back into blocks, so there can't be anything there. And I was going to go around and put piston block swappers everywhere, but I'm lazy, so I'm just going to turn the floor into a big contraption. Oh no. Oh, dearie me. I guess that's karma. I love these robots, and I think we need to think of some names for them. Any ideas? Okay, this factory is very slow, but I think we are only just scratching the surface of what you could do with animated robots and create. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing to make your factories feel a little bit more alive. I need to say a huge thank you to our very first channel members. Every piece of support makes making content like this possible. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like, comment your ideas for things we can make with Create. Don't forget to join the Discord. Oh, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. So, what did you think of the episode, Woody? Are you enjoying working in the factory?